Hello, chat. Today's stream is going to be a little bit shorter because if I do not manage to get in time to the ArchCast, he will make the face that you actually see on the thumbnail, which apparently is the same face that a lot of people from Generation Zeta are making regarding the, I guess, increase in prices due to inflation. Of course, they will not realize that is due to inflation. They will probably think that McDonald's is being greedy. My God, I never realized just how easy it is to manipulate the new generation, which has no knowledge of economics or anything. And, you know, like, you cause inflation and then you blame the companies. And then you can say, well, we, the government, can send you from the greedy companies. Right? Like, seriously. I looked at it through human history. Every single socialist government did that in the past. So they either cause inflation by printing money, or they cause artificial shortages. But basically what it does is it raises the prices for goods. And then when people notice that they cannot afford the goods, they go like, oh, what do? Government, help us. And then the government goes like, yes, it's the evil corporations that are greedy. We're going to start regulating them. We're going to start seizing them. It is a good question, like, how does a hash brown cost $3? I assume it's due to shortages, right? So probably not necessarily like the potato, but maybe the oil or something like that. Because otherwise, I genuinely don't understand myself how a hash brown can cost $3. So if you don't know what a hash brown is, it's a type of potato that McDonald's is serving. It's very popular among the people who pay $10 for a soy latte. Like, most people would not be able to afford $3 hash brown. It used to be $1 though, but now it's $3. Anyway, right, I want to point out to something else that I found interesting. So this is Capcom USA, right? As you can see, it's got 454 viewers. Like, not so bad, not so good either. Could be better, right? But again, 454 viewers. This is Capcom Japan, 105,000 views. What's interesting is that this is done for an international audience. Like, anyone that speaks English is going to watch this. So, you know, people from Romania can actually tune in and watch Capcom USA because it's in English. Like, everyone speaks English. This is in Japanese. Like, not a lot of people speak Japanese. It's only for Japan, right? It's not even Asia. Like, the Chinese cannot watch this. They do not understand. So, I just want to point out, like, 105,000 views. Compared, like, the Chad... The Chad, 105,000 views compared to the Virgin, 454 views. Yeah, it is fascinating. I don't know how to explain it. Like, there is a small group of people, the anointed ones, that are creating the illusion that this is what the market wants, and the market keeps telling them, no! No! But they keep pushing it anyway. It's, just... I don't know, like, it's hilarious. Man, even when the church used to push stuff, they would still at least get a crowd of people there. Like, when you had an evangelical mega church, you still managed to get a crowd. Yeah, another win for VTubers. It's really interesting because Capcom is literally a corporation that could actually make VTubing icons. Like, there's nothing stopping them from making VTubers. Imagine how cool that would be. Like, you have a VTuber Cammy, you have a VTuber Laura, and they would act in character and everything. Of course, that would never actually happen, because, you know, a company doesn't just let talent do whatever they want and be entertaining. But still, I mean, the potential is there, but they're never going to do it. This is something that I want to have on my main channel as well. What is a woman? The question. And this is like something that a lot of people are struggling with now. Like, for some reason, I wouldn't even say 5 years. 3 years ago, everyone knew that a woman is an adult human female, right? Now they just don't. Like, all these people have forgotten their history, their heritage, their past. Their ancestors are baffled. Let us listen.
That they're both women, right? So what is a woman?
A woman is anyone who wants to identify as one.
I keep hearing this, right? Like, what is a cat? A cat is anyone that wants to identify as a cat. It's like, yeah, but what the fuck is it? You know, like, it's a circular definition. Like, what is pink? Pink is whatever people consider it to be pink. Yeah, but like, what is... Actually, describing a color is very difficult, isn't it? Right? But it's interesting because, like, they could actually still come up with a definition. They would be like, well, the historical definition that we consider now to be bigoted is blah, 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 and this is the gender norm, and blah, 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 blah. However, now we consider that anyone can identify with that, or something. I don't know. But, like, what they're doing is gender abolitionism, right? Like, because that's the whole point. Like, if you can't define what a woman is, then there is no such thing as a woman. Which means that you're invalidating the concept of women's rights. You're invalidating, like, literally anything that has to do with women's spaces. But anyway.
A cat is a cat because they are a cat. That's not...
Hey, that's mine. Holy shit, that's mine. I didn't watch the video, but I actually used this example.
Like
this isn't a gotcha. It's just a genuine question. What
like
is a woman? Hold on. Hold on. Go ahead.
I didn't have anything to say yet.
But
look how scared they are. Like, unironically, look how scared they are. Like, look at their faces. They are really scared. You know why they can't say what is a woman? It's not that they don't know. It's simply the fact that if they say, they get canceled. Right? So they're scared of the people on Twitter. This is what frightens them. It's not, right? Like, they're afraid that they may lose their job. They're afraid that they're never going to get invited to other speaking events. They're afraid that they're going to lose money and fame. This is why they don't say it, right? Like, they're bullied into this level of submission.
What is a woman?
A person?
No, but what is the definition of what is a woman?
I don't know, I'm confused now.
I understand what your argument is. If I come out and I say a woman is someone who was born biologically a woman, I understand that that's where you're coming from. And
That's not a woman! That's a baby girl! A woman is an adult! See? They can't even know the proper definition anymore! A person that's born with a vagina is not a woman! It's a girl!
I agree everyone is entitled to their own opinion.
It's not an opinion! It's not an opinion! 2 plus 2 equals 4 is not an opinion! It's a statement of fact! God! Yeah, they got re-educated. That is the Walk Circus. Yes, like, they got terrorized into ignorance. I don't think I ever seen something like that in my life. Oh, you notice that the blue-haired one is actually a doll. That is a really good doll. I'm not gonna lie. Like, if you can camouflage it like that next to other women. I mean, like, I don't even know if they're women, because apparently they can't even make the definition. How can you have diversity if you do not know what a woman is? It's like you go to a company and it's like, well, we want you to have like 50% women representation. And you're like, well, what is a woman? Well, we can't define it. You know, like, the interesting thing is that, like, they know what is a woman. Everyone knows what is a woman. And you have to use that definition, but you use it internally. Like, you're not supposed to express it. Because again, like, when you're told at a company that you need 50% female representation, like, you know what they mean, right? Like, you know what they mean, but you cannot ask them what they mean. Because if you ask them, you end up being a bigot. Yeah, they believe it's virtuous to believe in false things. Like, they believe it's virtuous to not upset people. Even if you have to say lies. So when they say things, they don't say the things they believe. They say the things that they think other people want them to say, right? So, like, if they don't piss off people, then they're good citizens. That's exactly the mindset. It's like, what is a dinosaur? Like a dinosaur is something that identifies as a dinosaur. Like, you know, it doesn't really make sense. And notice how, for some reason, this problem doesn't exist when we talk about animals. Like, we don't look at a cow and we say, well, we don't know if it's a cow or a bull. Right? Like, you don't do that, right? Like, no other creature in the animal kingdom do we look and we say, well, we can't actually tell because we don't speak its language, so we don't know how it identifies that. It is an egocentric society, yeah, like, because usually, like, these, like, there are certain things in society that you have no control over, but other people have control over it. So, for example, your age, right? Like, what is an elderly person? Like, you're not going to be able to define what an elderly person is, because it's like, well, it's like 60, 65, you know? But, like, once you get to the age of being an elderly person, you can't identify as being a young person and then expect everyone else to behave like you're actually young. You know, and you're like 70, but you want to go to school again. Like, it doesn't work that way, right? Like, if you're a 60-year-old man and you go into a park next to a kindergarten and you start oogling at the kids or playing with them, you're going to be viewed in a very negative light by the mothers that are there, right? So, like, if you're 60 and you go to the park and you play with other people's children, right? And you cannot use the excuse, well, I identify as a young person. No, it doesn't work that way. There is a guy who identifies as a little girl. Yes, I even spoke with him in DMs. Like, it was on BBC, it was on The Guardian, and I talked to him in DMs. And apparently, like, it was just for fun. Like, he actually enjoyed it. Because I remember it was actually a very depressing case. Because I read it in the news. Like, this guy was a father, and I believe it was actually a father of 3 or something, right? So, all of a sudden, he identifies as a woman. And then, not only that, but he identifies as a little girl and gets adoptive parents, right? And he leaves the first family, and you're thinking like, oh, Jesus Christ, like, imagine what's happening with the children. And then he's now on BBC and The Guardian, right? So I spoke with him, and I keep saying him because he doesn't identify as a woman in private, right? Like, it was just a publicity stunt for the television. It was like, back in 2016, can I perform operations at the hospital if I identify as a doctor? Well, apparently, like, the way it works is that if there were many people, like, let's say a substantial number of people, like 5% of the population, who identified as doctors, and if you didn't accept their identification, they would commit self-harm, right? Like, they would harm themselves if you don't play along, then yes, you should be able to identify as a doctor. Apparently, that's how it works. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Yes, apparently it was fake. Many things that you see in the media are fake. The person was definitely sporting some questionable fetishes, let's put it like that, but he didn't actually think that he's a little girl. Russia has used President Biden, Joe Biden, in their posters. This is for Alzheimer awareness. So, no, sorry, for dementia facilities, my bad, for dementia facilities. So, as you can see, elderly people need attention. And they have used Joe Biden's image within one of their posters. My God, this looks like Romania. Look how dirty it is. So dirty. And with these buildings that are in disrepair. Really interesting. Quick job. Thank you, Denmark Radar, for the 100 Danish kroners. Have you seen the news that President Trump expects to be arrested and held without bail? I have not. Let me check it out. So, Donald Trump arrested. So Donald Trump expects to be arrested. Former president, he expects to be arrested. social media post, he refers to himself as a leading Republican candidate and former president of the United States. He wants people to protest, to take our nations back. The former president has been agitating for his team to get his base riled up and believes that an indictment will help him politically. This is actually true. Unironically, if he gets arrested, it would definitely increase, not decrease, the number of votes that he gets. Another witness is expected to testify on Monday. A spokesperson... I think in America you can actually run from prison. And then you can pardon yourself. I think the system allows for that. And the reason I'm saying this, that was legal precedent. So, during World War I, America abolished some of the rights that people had. One of them was the right to free speech. So you weren't allowed to talk against the government. You weren't allowed to talk against the war effort for the duration of World War I. I think like they even had like the Ministry of Censorship. Like they actually called it like that. But there was this gentleman which didn't agree, right? Like that's when the expression crying fire in a crowded theater came to be. And the problem was like there was actually a fire. You know, World War I was real. People were dying. But you weren't allowed to criticize that. So there was a person which got arrested for criticizing the government, and then he ran for elections from within the prison. Obviously, he did not win. Kind of difficult to have a campaign from the prison. But it is what it is. A spokesperson for Trump said that the former president has not received notification from his district attorney office regarding any potential indictment, but was rightfully highlighting his innocence. California Republican says that this would represent an outrageous abuse of power. Wait, are there such things as Californian Republicans? Like, do they exist? Are they real? I would like to see a California Republican, a picture of one. So I know it's not a mythological being because it's surprising me. Californian Republican. I mean, no, hold on, I'm Googling. California Republican. No, like this doesn't exist. California Republican. The California Republican Party. Kagop. Listen to this. Look at the images. They have the bear. They tell you to register to vote. But like, how do they look? They look fucking defeated. Look at this. Yeah, I like, he doesn't inspire much confidence and leadership. Look, in every picture. You know what? Maybe Arnold Schwarzenegger is going to save Trump. California Republicans need a major reset to matter again. Well, no, what you need, I'll tell you what you need. You need open borders with Eastern Europe for California, okay? Like, help some of the Ukrainian refugees find solace within California, right? Like bring a lot of Ukrainian refugees into California, and then I guarantee to you that, yes, the Republicans are going to need a major reset, but not for the reasons you think. They would be considered too watered down. Like, they wouldn't be considered too radical. they would be considered like way not even centrists. Like the Ukrainians would consider the California Republicans to be left-leaning. Hell, they would consider them to be commies. Like, I'll put it like that. You bring Eastern European people into California, they look at the Republicans like, well, why do we have two flavors of communism? We got communism light and communism hardcore. Why do we have... Where's the American way of life? Yeah, California also wants to pay for reparations. 6 billion, I believe it was. Oh, no, sorry. 600 billion. 600 billion. That's a lot of money. But, like, I'm curious, like, if you pay the reparations, do you have to pay them again in the future? Because I'm pretty sure, like, the topic will be brought up again. California, yes. No, but am I wrong with what I'm saying? Like I'm telling you because I live here in Eastern Europe. Like you dude, like the concept of abortion, right? Here in Eastern Europe, I think like 1 month after you 8 weeks is probably the norm, right? Like most countries have like 4 weeks, 6 weeks, right? Like the idea that when you hear an American politician on the left going, it's like, oh well, even 1 day before the birth, people would be abhorred. The biggest issue is the people paid will have their lives destroyed by it. Will they? Just keep reprinting money. What is the worst that could happen? Yes, like how much can we get that McDonald's chip? Can we get it to $9? Can we sing Deshi Deshi Basara Basara as the McDonald's potato chip keeps going up and up? In Turkey, it's accessible until 12 weeks. Wow, like Turkey is very progressive. That's it's much, no, seriously, like that's much better than in many countries in Europe. Like Sweden, which is a very progressive nation, still has like strict limits on abortion. I can vouch that California is that people are selfish. Oh, I would not have believed that. In Europe, most countries stick to 12 to 15 weeks. Yes. And not to mention, like, after COVID, you can't even make the argument anymore. I remember, like, during COVID, you had to, like, if you wanted to get a green pass, like a QR code without getting vaxxed, you had to get that shit up your nose every 24 hours. So you had to go, you know, like, have someone pick your nose to do the PCR test every 24 hours. And you're telling me that, okay, so a woman that does promiscuous activities cannot get a pregnancy test and pee on it every 2 weeks? It's like, this is what we're talking about, right? It's like, well, how would they know that they're pregnant? Well, you have pregnancy tests. Give Pfizer some money. Give Pfizer. Pfizer needs your money. Do they make pregnancy tests? They're a pharmaceutical company. I think they do, right? If they don't make, then give it to their competition. But still, there is no excuse. The Turks take it from somewhere in Quran, where the breath of life is given to the baby or something. But I haven't read. Why didn't you read the Quran, Tefik? Tefik, I have one Muslim in the chat. Read the fucking Quran, Tefik. At least read the latest chapters. I understand, like, the more you read it, the more, how should I put it? In a way so I don't offend people. Like the first passages are the more tamed ones, I understand. But as you go down, as you keep reading it, it becomes more action-packed. Am I right? Any Muslims, can you confirm? Like, the deeper you go into the Quran, the more action-packed it becomes. Like, in the beginning, it's a lot more tame. It's a lot more PG-13, but as you keep reading it, it gets a lot more action-packed. No, seriously, genuinely curious, because that's what I've been told. I haven't read it myself. I should, though. I should read the Quran. Complete the trilogy. I read the Torah, right? Like the Old Testament. I read the New Testament, and I need to read the Quran. I need to complete the trilogy. I'm too lazy for it, and I won't get offended. Yeah, but like, why do you think you're the only Muslim? You're the only Muslim in the chat, but God knows who's going to watch this stream later on. I may have Imam Tahwidi come in here and be like, oh, V, what are you doing? I am disappointed in you, brother. Is there a manga for the Quran? No, but there is a manga where Jesus and Buddha live together in an apartment and they have wholesome adventures. I'm not kidding. That's an actual thing, right? So like Jesus and Buddha. I like action-packed anyway. Words are good. At least imperialism is better than globalism. The only reason you say that words are good is because you haven't lived through one. Nothing is worse in mankind than an actual war. I'm telling you. It's not good. Unless you bully like a really weak nation. If you bully like someone that's technologically inferior than your nation, then maybe, yeah, you don't care. But if you're going to have like a world war or something like that, I mean, there is a reason why world wars are considered pivotal throughout the history of almost any nation. Because they were scarring to the people that lived through them. The best part in the Quran is when Azir jumps the exploding jinn to defeat the techno-barbarians. Oh, I see what you did there. I literally thought that there was something like that. I think it's called Saint Young Man? I don't know. Anyway. Dying in a war is better than being in a declining empire. Man, it depends how you die in a war. Did you know that you can survive most of the shit that happens in a war? So there is like the unkillable soldier, which I believe got shot 14 times, had an arm amputated, a bullet went through his eye. He survived that, right? And at the end of the day, he writes a book and he finishes with like, frankly, I did like the war. But my point is, oh, and apparently he died while falling down a pair of steps. Right? So, but he was old. But like my point is, the problem isn't necessarily dying in war. The problem is surviving the war with the question on how. You know what? I wonder if I could ask ChatGPT to write the Quran as if J.J. Abrams or no, Ryan Johnson wrote it. That would be interesting. It was also that Fisherman nuked 2 times. Oh, yeah. But no, the Fisherman that got nuked 2 times was fine. I mean, he suffered psychological damage. And it wasn't like just the Fisherman that got... No, the Fisherman got nuked 3 times. Okay? Like, first he was in Hiroshima. And then he saw a blinding light and described how the sky was burning. Or was it in Nagasaki? I forgot which one was it. But, like, he was in one of these places, right? Like the first one that got bombed. And he describes how, like, because he was a janitor at a school. And he described how, like, he gets up from the rubble, doesn't really understand what's going on, can't hear, can't see properly, blood everywhere, you know, dead children, like, a very scarring moment. But luckily, he goes home, because he wasn't living there, like, he was just working there, he was commuting. He goes home, and then again, blinding flash, the sky is burning. Right? Like that doesn't do well to the psyche of a person. And then finally, when he's like really old, and I assume like scarred from all of that shit, he finds himself in a little boat fishing, when again, blinding flash, the sky is burning, because the Americans were testing another nuke. But they were testing it in international waters, and he was like even away from Japan. So, yeah, I mean, that is probably the most unlucky person on Earth. And he didn't get cancer, from what I understand. Because you would think, like, the radiations would have had a say in things. Probably didn't have children, though. And I guess, like, that does something to a person. I don't know. Maybe you just get used to it at one point. It's like, oh, look, the nuke again. Yeah, I guess that would make you a nuclear expert. You know, like, if anyone needs to drop a nuke, it would be that guy. Because, like, at that point, he's not impressed. You know, he did the drills. That is the first X-Man. No, but, like, think about it. Like, being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Yeah, I think he stopped fishing. Yes, I do. I don't think he stopped. The interesting thing is, though, there are people who get, like, hit by lightning, like, 7 or 8 times. And you have to wonder, dude, is that story fucking real? Like, first of all, there's people that get hit by lightning once and they don't get up. Right? But then it's like, you get this guy and he gets hit once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. And you're like, how is he still getting up? Like, God is literally telling you, stay down, bitch, stay down. But no. Like, I would think Zeus has it in for me. Can you imagine if this actually happened in the antiquity when people actually believed in God? Like, for real. Not, you know, like the way some people believe now. Like, no, like, legit they believed it. It's like, yes, Thor is real. Thor swings the fucking hammer. And you have this guy and he keeps getting cracked by lightning. Like, you would think people would stop avoiding him. Like, they would be like, alright, well, dude, I don't know what you keep doing, but, holy shit. Like, you really pissed off Zeus, didn't you? Like, you should get back into the good graces of Odin so that he can tell Thor to cut that shit, because... No, but like, yeah, he literally probably pissed in Thor's cornflakes. Like, just keep getting zapped by lightning over and over. They'd probably worship him? No, I don't think they would worship him. I mean, I guess it depends how you look at it, right? Because, like, if you get hit by lightning and you get up, I guess, like, God didn't really want to kill you, right? So, but, like, why would he strike you again? If World War III happened, will your country build back better in 10 years? Sorry, if World War III happened, will your country build better, worse, 10? I don't understand. So it depends. World War III can go in two ways. Number one, it would be a very fast NATO response, and due to the level of technology that we have, it would advance really fast, and the war would be over in a couple of months. That would be the most preferable outcome. The outcome which is not preferable is that World War III happens, and the initial push, like the specialized forces, because that's what NATO has. It has like these very highly trained, specialized mercenaries ready to deploy, like a fast intervention team. The fast intervention team fails. And then you get to trench warfare. And once you get to trench warfare, then they would start recruiting people, right? Like they would start drafting people. You'd realize that food is becoming scarce. So on and so forth. And that would be bad. Like, the conflict would start to drag, and it would be a really bad time. The internet would go down. Yes, most likely. I mean, everything that's satellite-based is probably going to be unresponsive. Not to mention, apparently there is a problem with space debris. Like the amount of asteroids and shit surrounding our planet is growing. If there was a war, like, all these nations would start launching satellites like there's no fucking tomorrow. And they would also try to take them down at the same time. So, yeah, it would be definitely a problem with space clutter. Like, you would actually be in a situation where you may end up not being able to launch new satellites. Because the already existing satellites, they travel at a very high velocity around the Earth. And they would just knock your previous satellites down. Internet going down would cause society to collapse. Probably the cities, yeah. But like the rural areas, not so much. The more advanced the country is, the more likely it would suffer economical damages as well as psychological damages from the falling of the internet. And not just the internet, but like all electronics. I mean, you look at a hospital nowadays, I wonder like how many doctors can diagnose without an x-ray machine, right? Like there are clinical signs which aren't perfect, but like a good doctor used to be able to put a diagnosis without having the need of electricity. And yeah, if electricity goes down, like how many doctors would be able to know? Probably in a first world country, not so many, but like here in Europe, a lot of them, because we're actually trained to do that. But it is what it is. It's not just like no internet. You wouldn't be able to use cell phone. Land wires would work, I guess, but like anything that's like shortwave radio would have problems passing through mountains and hills, right? It wouldn't be nice. But I think people would adjust. You know, like a lot of people would starve in the beginning. But after a while, people would just adjust to the new normal. That's what they would call it, the new normal. Original Silent Hill director Mashiro Ito responds after being attacked for retweeting Matt Walsh's definition of a woman. Says activists don't have any interest in LGBTQ. and just want to attack someone they don't like. Well, Mashiro Ito is a very smart individual. Right? Like, he's got some of that sexy Asian wisdom going on. He's like Mr. Miyagi. I really like, I didn't know who, what is his name? Mashiro Ito-sama. I did not know who Mashiro Ito-sama is. But now that I do, I respect him. Mashiro Ito, I respect you that I will use the name Sama after you. Fiber optics would work? Yes, they would. But like the question is, like, where does the internet come from your provider, right? So how does your provider get internet? Where is it coming from? And even then, it's like, yeah, sure, you would have fiber optics, but like, what if they cut them? Because like, one of the tactics in war is to cut the enemy's infrastructure. And fiber optics would definitely be part of the enemy infrastructure. Japan getting into the culture war is kind of wild. Well, I'm pretty sure, like, even for tolerant, polite, civilized people like the Japanese, there is a line after which they can say, we have had enough. Like, you have abused our politeness for so long. You have bullied our artists. You have stolen from our mangas. You have mistranslated our shit. Long enough. Enough, Gaijin. Enough. Yeah, fiber optic is very fragile. But that's not the point, because it's like, if it's fiber optic or if it's a electric cable, I think it's the same level of resistance towards a bomb. Like, it doesn't really care. Have I played Red Dead Redemption? Yes, I did. My girlfriend is Japanese, pretty progressive. But she has starting to get hints of being red pill. Well, I guess it's like the hash bro from McDonald's, right? Like, it's all fun in games until that fucking potato gets to $3. When it gets to $3, people start liking it. And they're like, okay, but like, what did this? What caused this? Why is it $3? Why is this abomination of a price on my McDonald's meal? Didn't you say that Japan will conform if they get enough money? No, I said that if the West manages to get control of the streaming services for anime, and then they have like a censorship committee, yes, Japanese anime companies are going to start to conform. But right now, the West did not manage to solidify all of the streaming services into one. So yeah, you do gotta hit people in their wallets. It's very correct. Thank you, 1-3, for the 490. The hidden tax of inflation is something I'm glad to see people are finally becoming aware of. I wish they were aware of like 3 years ago. When Joe Biden came out and it's like, I'm going to print trillions of dollars. Inflation is a myth, but I will print you more trillions. You know, if people would have said, old man, don't do this. Do not do this. Unfortunately, they didn't. So, here we are. It will cost the American zero. I remember that, like he was on TV. Zero. Interesting. Well, I guess it did. But now it costs them $3 if they want to buy a potato chip. They may be aware, but they still vote the same. That is, well, I have seen some people that change their mind. This is off topic, but I'm the only one who can answer. What are the consequences of long-term misdiagnosis of Lyme disease? So Lyme disease, you get it from the tick, and if I'm not mistaken, it does nerve damage, doesn't it? I need to refresh. Hold on. If it does if it does irreversible damage, then the consequences for misdiagnosis can be severe. And I'm not the only one that can respond. You now have ChatGPT, which literally replaced me. So it is transmitted through the bite of ticks, fever, headache, fatigue, skin rash. Let's see. I don't think it's that bad though. Yeah, I think like you're going to suffer more, but like if it so you get arthritis. All right, if you get any of these, you should be concerned. So arthritis, memory complaints, and constant feeling of tiredness. But basically, it's not a deadly illness. I mean it's rarely life-threatening. But if you delay the treatment, you're going to suffer more. It's still possible that you're going to get cured. I mean, it's not as you're still going to get cured, right? Because you're in a first world country, still going to get cured. But like the more it's being misdiagnosed, the more you're going to suffer. The worse it's going to get. Like you're going to experience symptoms which could have been avoided. Yeah, ChatGPT is a medical doctor. Yes. I was using Google in order to refresh my memory on what the symptoms are. And I was looking to see if any of the symptoms are affecting organs that cannot regenerate. Right? So anything that has to do with the neurals, the brains, anything that has to do with the nervous system, right? The brain, the nerves, the heart. Usually these things do not regenerate. So if they start affecting these things, well, then even if you cure the disease, you still have the scars. So that's why I use Google. But, yeah, if you get, like, misdiagnosed, 10 years misdiagnosed, Jesus. I mean, you're going to feel like a new man when you finally get rid of it. Thank you, Grimlock Steve, for the €5. I appreciate it. V, I'm drunk, and I have money. Also, where can I find great AI waifus? In my video game. I'm making a video game. I actually fed the script into ChatGPT, and then I asked the program, I asked the AI, hey, ChatGPT, how do I describe my game? And look what it described. Hold on. I will read you the description. Succubus Hotel is a dark fantasy erotic RPG featuring a suspenseful, immersive storyline. The style of the game can be described as a combination of psychological horror, adult content, and supernatural elements. The plot revolves around the seductive and manipulative nature of the succubi, who use their power to enthrall and drain their victims' life force. The game atmosphere is eerie and mysterious, with a focus detailed on artwork and character design. The narrative often explores themes such as temptation, desire, and a darker side of the human nature, as well as the consequences of giving in to these desires. The game is intended for a mature audience and is characterized by the explicit content, strong language, and disturbing imagery. Is that satisfying? You have to wait at least 2 years for it. But let me show you. Do you want me to show you a picture of it? A picture. Hold on. I think I can show this. This is fine. Work in progress. Look at it. Huh? I'm going to tell the animator to make her to stop bouncing, because like, she's got ADHD. But that's called the idle animation. See, I'm learning things. The idle, yeah, I don't want it. I don't want the idle animation. There is a young man named Ren that was misdiagnosed for 10 years and labeled insane, given psychotropics, but he had Lyme disease. Would you please review the video? Well, I can't review it now, but I can tell you that when you're a doctor and you get 1,000 patients per year, Misdiagnosing one is very easy to make as an error. And usually other doctors rely on the diagnosis of the doctor that came before them. And take into account that certain illnesses have very similar symptoms. So basically, yeah, I mean, you kind of can, like, if a person exhibits certain mental issues, which can be caused by Lyme disease, other doctors are going to consider that it is a psychiatric issue. However, like, if that was the case, he can definitely sue, and he can make some really good money. Unfortunately, he's never going to get those 10 years back. I'm a legend. Why, thank you. I will try. 2 years, your right hand cannot... well, I can't show you more on YouTube. But what I am planning is that I will probably make a comic. Make a comic with 8 panels or so to promote the game. And then I will start a Kickstarter or something. I'm sleepy and stupid. It's hard to pin down. Yeah, I mean... Normally, when a person goes to the hospital, you have his blood work and you should be able to see that there is an infection because he has like a higher number of white blood cells. But maybe in his case, he had like a particular, I don't know, like maybe a particularly different immune reaction. So it didn't appear as an infection. And like if his blood work comes fine, then it's very difficult to diagnose. The video may speak to us as a creator and doctor. He is very talented. See you later when you have time. Well, later when I have time, I can definitely do that. Go to Ethan's channel. I don't think Ethan appreciates La Gente. He seems like a Christian man with Christian beliefs, which is fine. Can you show more on another platform? I will, when I have something to show. He loves reactors. He won't strike you, but you're the boss. Nani? I'm not afraid that I will be striked. Ethan is a liar today. Oh. Why is Ethan Van Sciver a liar? What did he do? What did he lie about? Because I'm not aware. I have stopped following the controversy. But every single time a person becomes famous on the internet, there will be people saying that he's a grifter, a liar, and a detractor. So you will need to give me like further evidence on why he is a liar. Uncle Ethan wouldn't mind you there. If I go there with Smoot, he will mind. He doesn't like the smoothie. But it's also the fact that I do not believe that his audience and my audience appreciates the same things. You know, like he's with comic books. I'm more with anime. Like I'm getting Japanese voice actresses for my game, and I'm getting artists which can draw within the Japanese style. Do you think that the United States is trying to instigate a world war with Russia? No, I think it's trying to cripple Russia economically without starting a world war. Like, why do you think... So, wars aren't really that profitable, except some circumstances, but world wars are unpredictable and definitely not profitable. How smoothie are we? Very smoothie. Has anybody asked your opinion on whether or not cereal is soup? Oh my fucking god. You know, definitions aren't mathematical. Right? So, like, definitions are a general description of things. And the general description of soup is when you put water and vegetables in it. Now, while technically a cereal does fit the definition of soup, it is not really what people think about when they hear the word soup. So, therefore, it is not soup. Go on the Jack show? Dude, I'm going on the Arch Warhammer show. How about that? Going on the ArchCast. How many minutes do I have until I have to go? I gotta go in 1 hour. Exactly 1 hour. And if I don't, Arch will have the face very similar to the one that I showed you in the thumbnail. Anime is basically the same as manga. It is. Anyway, I'll have to end it earlier because Arch. No more Dungeons and Dragons. We called them wars, but World War I was only Europe fighting amongst each other. And it's vast. Dude, like, yes, like the main players were in Europe, but like regardless what country you were in during World War I, chances are it was somehow affected by the war effort. Either because you had to give more resources, more bodies, like more men, right? Like no country was safe from it. Ask Arch to review Sargon's models. Ooh. Thank you for the 550 California, Barb. But anyway, right. I will need to cut it abruptly now, because I do need to go to Arch. So, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Take care.